Now look, let's get to the WNBA, where Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese was ejected from the game last night against the New York Liberty after drawing consecutive technical fouls. The ejection happened after Reese was called for her fifth foul and was, quote, disrespectfully addressing, end quote, official Charles Watson. Angel Reese is a rising star in the WNBA, drafted 7th overall by the Sky 2 months ago. On Monday, Reese addressed the media following that controversial technical foul on her teammate, Kennedy Carter, who shoved Caitlin Clark, a move that drew national headlines. Reese made it clear that fans are watching women's basketball not because of, quote, one player, but because of her as well. Today, the WNBA rescinded the second technical upon further review, according to a league source, which does not mean much at this point in my estimation. Let me tell y'all why I'm bringing this up. Over the last few days, the Caitlin Clark situation where Kennedy Carter side hipped her, basically checked her with a, side hip move and whatever, knocking her to the ground. And it was national news because Caitlin Clark has been taking quote unquote abuse since she's arrived in the WNBA. That kind of story gained national attention. It was something that was debated on my day job, First Take, on ESPN every weekday morning from 10 a.m. to noon. And in the process of talking about that particular subject, one of the things that I highlighted was that Caitlin Clark's the golden goose. She happens to be a terrific talent who's white and very, very marketable. The combination of the two things make her the golden goose for the WNBA. Go after her, compete with her, get the better of her at every turn. Nobody's questioning that you can't go after her. But what I was saying was, although whether it's jealousy, envy, resentment, it's all justifiable because there were people that were pounding the pavement and going through so much to help elevate the WNBA's profile long before Caitlin Clark ever came along, and yet were denied that level of recognition and that level of appreciation. The bottom line is, since Caitlin Clark is the one here now, ride the wave. Rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. And that was the argument that I was making. And I was saying everybody ain't her. We ain't talking about it being fair. As my boy Jeff always says, fair is a place where they judge pigs. It doesn't exist. It's not about fairness. It's about reality. The reality is that the max contract in the WNBA at this particular moment in time is $250,000 to a player. Caitlin Clark is already committed to $28 million in endorsement deals, at least. Look at the wave that she's created. Look at the profile that it has granted the WNBA. Look at the record ratings they've produced because of her arrival. Once upon a time, they were watching about the audience in Indiana for Indiana Fever games was at about 4,000. Now it's at about 16 to 17,000. The ratings for the WNBA draft was 2.446 million, which was the largest in WNBA history. The doubleheader that opened the season generated over 1.5 million viewers, which was more than the WNBA had accumulated in more than 2 decades. You have all of this stuff going on. Understand, Caitlin Clark is different. We ain't talking about fairness. We're talking about business. And when Angel Reese comes out and says, she ain't the only one everybody's watching, they're watching me too, they're watching others, a day later she gets ejected. I ask a simple question. I don't have an answer. I'm not pretending to have an answer. I'm not going to give you an answer. I'm going to ask you a simple question. If that's Caitlin Clark, does she get ejected from that game? I'm just asking. If it's Caitlin Clark, do you think that referee ejects her? You know better. You know better. So again, the golden goose is the golden goose. Go after Caitlin Clark, do what you got to do. Compete with her, take her down. Just remember, you want to lift her up too, because as she rises, the whole league is going to rise. And everybody's going to benefit. And if everybody's benefiting, at some point in time, although it's frustrating that it took so long, and it's frustrating that it's being given to somebody who hasn't pounded the pavement and put in that time the way the rest of y'all have, in the end, if you all benefit, that's what matters most. Angel Reese is a terrific player who's going to be a star in the WNBA. I believe in her. She's not Angel Reese. She's not Caitlin Clark. Not as of yet. She's just not. And I understand Lonzo Ball for the Chicago Bulls coming out and talk about the ref that threw out Reese is weak. By the way, you know who you are. Keep your money, Angel. I got you. Big props to him. Don't blame him one bit. We all should have felt that way because she didn't deserve that ejection. That was BS. But in the same breath, the bigger story is that it came a day after she said, people ain't just watching the WNBA for Caitlin Clark. We know Caitlin Clark wouldn't have got ejected from that game. Not at this stage. She wouldn't have got ejected. We know that. So what does that tell you? You can be as frustrated as you want to. Get your shine. Elevate your cachet. And if Caitlin Clark is there to be used in order to pull it off, then use her to pull it off. Very, very simple. Very, very simple.